Something that's always interested me is the cross-section of storytelling and game mechanics, and a designer that's done a lot of fun ideas with this is Sam Barlow, who's actually got a new web series called Wargames, a show that not only gives you choices over how it develops, but also gives you the chance at winning up to $3,000 in Walmart gift cards thanks to today's sponsor, Echo. So what exactly is Wargames and how does it work? Well, like a lot of Barlow's other work, it's very heavily focused on the idea of viewer perception and how it changes the way the story evolves. In the case of Wargames, it's an interactive TV show that you watch, and unlike a traditional TV show where it's just the one screen, everything's happening all in there, it's instead told through multiple screens done through different web cameras, people's phones, so on and so forth. And as you're watching, you choose which of these cameras you want to focus on. And based on which ones you focus on, the story's going to change. It's not something where you're being handed clear, obvious choices and seeing how they play out like a choose-your-own-adventure. It's a lot more subtle and interesting than that. It's focusing on what cameras you seem to care about as a viewer, which characters that you're interested in, and tilting all the events to favor those situations, where you're learning more about certain people's backstories, maybe someone gets the upper hand in an argument because you're focusing on them, or you learn more tidbits about the history of what's going on in this setting. Simply put, the show focuses on what you care about as a viewer and shifts everything to match that perception. Now, if you're wondering about those prizes I mentioned earlier that you could have a chance to win, there's actually another game tied into Wargames called Hashcoin, which gives you the chance to win up to $3,000 in Walmart gift cards. Now, I actually got the chance to play Hashcoin early, and it is super simple to pick up. All you have to do is sign up, it's totally free, and we actually have the link down below if you want to check that out, and you just start watching Wargames on desktop. Now, while you're watching Wargames, Hashcoin is going to be going on at the same time on the side, asking you all different kinds of trivia tied in to what's happening in the show. And every time you get a question right, you score points. And at the end of the contest period, the top 15,000 scorers are going to split a $250,000 prize, with the top spot getting $3,000 in Walmart gift cards. By the way, if you're worried that you're not the best at trivia,
Spatula, final answer.
you still have the chance to win big because you can also score points by sharing Hashcoin with your friends and inviting them to play too. Plus, it doesn't hurt that all the trivia is still tied directly into what's going on in the show, so you don't have to be any kind of trivia mastermind to get through it all. Once again, this is totally free to play. All you have to do is sign up. We've got the link down below in the description. Make sure to check that out so you have your chance to win a piece of that $250,000 prize. Oftentimes when games miss the idea of narrative, it's usually just a choose-your-own-adventure approach, where, yeah, there's a sort of a basic storyline, but you make decisions and events play out a little differently depending on what you do, which is fine, that's fun. But Barlow's work is a bit more interesting and unique and plays a lot more with the idea of how players actually interact with the fiction and kind of messing with their perceptions of everything. A really good example of this is actually one of his oldest works from way back in 1999, which was this text-based game called Isle. Now, Isle was interesting because while it's a text-based game where you enter a command, you actually only enter one command and that's the entire game. But what happens is every time you do a different command, you get a different ending, and that different ending can give you an idea of some other command to try and see what happens instead. And had all these different storylines where there were different main characters depending on what commands you do, different life situations, different histories, all kinds of stuff that was really weird in a great way. Now, this idea was explored a lot more in the game that he's probably most famous for, which is Her Story. Now, in Her Story, the entire game is built around a series of FMV sequences that are all just little bits of an interrogation, and it's a set storyline no matter what way you watch it. However, the way it works is that players are given some scenes, and then they have to figure out keywords to use to search for more scenes and piece the whole story together. So while two separate players can watch all the exact same scenes, they're not necessarily going to experience them in the same order, and the order that you watch them in can heavily change how you interact with the fiction and kind of what order different plot revelations occur to you. Wargames is another step in the development of interactive storytelling, and I cannot wait to see where that genre goes. And don't forget, if you want a chance to win a part of that $250,000 in Walmart gift cards, make sure to check out the link down below and sign up for Hashcoin.